Good morning. Hey, folks. This is Waylon Lewis from Boulder, Colorado, and I'm excited to be with you. I think I've missed all your beautiful messages. So if you don't mind, we'll touch back in with that. But first, let's take a good posture. And who's here been here before? You can say height, H-A-I, if you want. Who's been here before and knows why we start with a bow? Is it just to be weird? Is it just to be special? Or is there some reason we do it? Luann, Noel, Cosmo, Jen, Vandora, Sierra, anyone have an idea why we do this crazy bow thing? Jan, maybe because we don't want to shake hands. Joseph in San Francisco. Anyone? So we got 6,984, super close. If any of you feel like texting a friend saying elephantjournal.com/retreat, I think we could get to 7,000 of us. So respect, Jan, for the bow. Any other ideas why we do this bow? Emily or Molly, do you mind putting the how to bow blog and the why to bow and all that in the sidebar? So any links that you guys want to open up, you can open up now, but just read later if you don't mind. And if you have a phone or a laptop, whatever that you're not using, please throw it into the bushes or just gently put it away. And let's be present. Let's give ourselves this hour together. So this is why we bow. You can open up that link if you'd like, read it later. Connecting sky, earth, us, acknowledging one another with love. My spirit honors your spirit. Namaste. Okay, so all details in the This Is Why We Bow blog. The bow that we're doing together comes from the Buddhist tradition. It doesn't make you Buddhist. You don't have to be Buddhist to do it. You can do it before and after a meal with your family or by yourself. You can do it before and after a meeting at Elephant Journal. Every meeting like this one, we do before and after the meeting. It just provides a little moment of pause. Who here can be speedy, doing one thing, filling every moment, doing one thing after another until we just binge watch Billions for 5 hours in the evening? A lot of us in America, particularly, we kind of trained ourselves to be speedy, busy, 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 busy. And in Buddhism, we call that, Emily or Molly, do you mind putting the 5 Buddha families in the sidebar? It's an article by my mom, and it's actually busyness is laziness. I've talked about that before. Busyness is one side of the coin and laziness is the other. The two are intimately connected. Both are a discomfort with the openness of space. So can we put that, what was the link I just said? Oh, the 5 Buddha families and also the Busyness is Laziness blog. That's one of my favorite articles on elephant ever, if anyone wants to read that. So through this hour, if this is your first time or 80th time, we just started this for the quarantine. The quarantine is half over, depending on where you are. The coronavirus is not at all over. We don't have a vaccine. We don't have testing available everywhere yet. So we're in this weird limbo, emotionally, politically, societally. So there's the 5 Buddha families, and you can see which one you are. But in the Buddha families, they talk about the neurosis of laziness, of completely checking out from the present moment, versus busyness, trying to stay so busy that you're above the waves of reality at all times, that you don't have to relax into the present moment or awaken into the present moment. So often, Samara, my dear Samara, we will talk about it's good to slow down. But what if you're completely lazy and out of it? It's actually good to wake up, have a cup of coffee. There's a sense of wakefulness. So there's no virtue to slowing down versus speeding up. It's really, if you're out of it, you may need to wake up. If you're speedy, you may need to relax. So the idea is that we speed up or we slow down into the present moment. And that's the bow. So take a great posture and let's all come into one present moment together. In prayer, that could be how we connect with God. So take a good breath, everyone. Take a good posture. You can make sure your shoulder blades are still functioning, that they're not completely locked forward. And don't lock them backward either. Just, you can flex them a little bit. Good posture, find your breath, and give it away. So a cardinal rule of the bow is that you see where people's states of minds are. If you started talking, like in meetings, people will be like, so today we're talking about, just don't talk during the bow. Don't reach for your coffee on the way up from the bow. Just relax into that full gesture. And the bow is simply connecting heaven and earth. That's the gesture in the realm of society, of community. And I feel incredibly humbled about the opportunity to speak with you every Friday and to listen with you. This isn't something I take for granted. I tweeted this morning that, kindness, I don't know what I said, but something about kindness in this world needs to rule, needs to actually be the default. Kindness needs to be cool, which makes it sound super uncool, but kindness needs to be our reference point. So whether we're conservative or we're liberal or we're whatever our approach is, kindness needs to be our reference point. So I think a week or two ago, I talked about how I was trying to practice, like, how grandmothers will tell us, don't swear when something bad happens. Say, goodness gracious, sunshine, is super dorky. But when something bad and sudden happens, in Buddhism, we can call that klesha, an extreme emotional, neurotic, upsetting event. Anyone ever have those? Our minds tend to go into tumult and our ego goes into overdrive to figure out a story. We all try to figure out this mental tweet with which to defend ourselves and to justify our reality and to find our ground. And all of that is well-intentioned. Is anything I'm saying making sense? Are we still sort of, am I coming from a place of busyness and it's not connecting? Let's all take a good breath and just come here. So I don't want to do a reading today, but I wanted to touch into this notion from Shambhala. I just opened it up for you all, for me, to have a reference point here. And the quote I immediately read that my eyes opened up to, or the page opened up to and my eyes lit upon, is, when you are fully gentle, without arrogance and without aggression, you see the brilliance of the universe. You develop a true perception of the universe. One of the most important points in invoking Drala is the energy, the natural energy of this world, and we can connect with it when we. Does anyone feel like you connect with Drala, this energy of goodness, this energy of the world, of the universe? You could call it God, but in a way, it's not a big deal. It's everywhere. Do you feel like you connect with it when you go for a walk in nature? When you look at, I have this old raccoon who every day walks from the sewer super slowly. It takes forever, and its hunched little careful feet padding along. And then it crawls really gingerly up this big tree. And the whole process takes 10 minutes. And you see it just hang out on the tree for a long time. I put an old sweet potato by it today. See if raccoons like sweet potatoes. I figure they do. And then it very carefully comes down, and you can tell it's old because it's really not comfortable how it moves. And when you watch something like that, you appreciate something that isn't yourself. As Eleanor Roosevelt, maybe we can put that Eleanor Roosevelt inspiring quotes that I blogged up, Emily, when you focus completely on something that isn't yourself, you yourself get the benefit. You yourself can relax. So one of the important points in invoking Drala, in connecting with that energy, is to prepare a ground of gentleness and genuineness. That means if our ground is aggression, if our ground is speediness, life is going to be pretty rough for us. If our fundamental reference point is kindness or relaxation or breath, we might be in better shape. All of us know someone. Like I grew up with Corey. I've known some others in my life who their default reference point is cheerfulness, is caring about others. And whatever they go through, that's what they come back to immediately. And it's so inspiring. Is anyone thinking of someone like that? I'm not like that. So that doesn't mean I'm bad. That just means I have to practice meditation, practice kindness. The basic obstacle to genuineness is arrogance. The basic obstacle to gentleness is arrogance. Arrogance comes from hanging on to the reference point of me and other, which we're seeing a lot of with the sort of anti-mask thing, right? And, that's not helped by partisan folks who say wearing a mask makes you weak, makes you a sheep. But, when I wear this mask, here's the test for all of you. And if I wear a mask when I go out, and I don't have to wear it all the time, I keep it down. And then if I pass people, if I have no choice, I put it up. When I wear that mask, am I keeping me safe or am I keeping them safe? Safer. Is it for me or is it for them? It's a quiet group today. Yeah, you could say both, but it really is for them. And when you put on your mask, you're doing it for me. So when I bike or I go for a walk, I don't wear it because I don't like to breathe this hot, weird air. But if I'm biking by people and I don't have a choice, I try to give them distance. If I'm walking with my dog and I'm working with someone outside, I'll just put it up and it's no big deal. To me, this symbolizes not that I'm being a sheep. It symbolizes that I care about other folks. Well, I have a delivery. So let's all find our breath and just find our breath in and out. And just place your attention on that breath, and I'll be back. Hey, thank you. These are amazing. Were these yours? Oh my God. Thank you so much. If you ever walk along this fence, you'll see them. Anytime that there's a huge tree house, it'll be really fun for a lot of people. Thank you, guys. So I can't pick them up. Did everyone hear that? I'm building this big fence out of bike rims, bike wheels, but the rims. And someone just dropped off antique or vintage water skis made out of wood that I guess their family had used in New Hampshire. And I don't want to pick them up just because of coronavirus. I'll pick them up in a day or two or when I can wash my hands immediately after. But so we're building this fence out of entirely reused everything. Everything's reused. And the community around Boulder is dropping off old skis and these water skis and bike rims, and it's kind of a little community project. So that I apologize for that. I wasn't expecting that then. Hope you accept that apology. But that's community, right? That is caring about each other. And community isn't, kindness is almost too serious of a word. What is another word for community? It's fun. Community is fun. Whether you're working together in a community garden or your garden in your backyard with a bunch of your roommates or your building mates. Community is fun. Farmers market is fun. I call farmers market free therapy, right? Free therapy in that I'm grumpy, I'm full of myself, I'm having a hard time, I'm stressed out, I'm really sad, maybe I'm upset about something. Then in the past, not during coronavirus, but in the past, I go to farmers market, and the first few people I see as I'm getting my coffee say, "Hey, how are you?" You know, and I say, I can't even talk. And after a few exchanges with folks, they say, "Hey, how you doing?" I say, "Oh, things, it's been I'm a little burned out." And then 5 minutes later, someone says, I run into Lindsay or Dave, and they say, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm able to have a whole conversation. My mind and my heart have processed my difficulty, my emotional state, and I can actually be present and relax and have fun. And community can be really hard and difficult too. I'm not trying to get away from that. Communities can be frustrating. Anyone who's ever had roommates or relationships or children or lived in co-housing or lived in a spiritual retreat center, community can drive you crazy. But even there's some connection, and our egos are being squeezed, like putting on a belt slightly too tight. Any pressure points where we're holding stuff are going to be pressed by community. So community is, from that point of view, an incredibly powerful vehicle for waking up. In Buddhism, we talk about the 3 jewels. Does anyone know what the 3 jewels are? I feel like I could make a joke with Dave about that right now. But the 3 jewels is what I'm talking about. And the first one is the teacher, the awakened one, the principal. And we don't worship that person. They're an example, and they teach us in the same way that a big brother or big sister teaches his or her little brother or little sister. And then, and it's a little different, but it's not about worship. And then the second jewel is, someone needs to block this DJR. Who is this person? Then the second jewel is the teachings themselves. What are the actual teachings? So, if you're a student of not Trungpa Rinpoche, but Trump Rinpoche, you would say, well, it's all about me. I don't need to pay my contractors. Everything's about me. Does this make me feel good? If a journalist asks a tough question or even a simple question, that may make me feel bad. And I apologize if that sounds partisan, but that's kind of the reality that we're in. It's not really about democracy, which needs to be a healthy and respectful exchange of ideas. It's about my way or the highway. And then the third jewel is Sangha, or community. DJR is a friend of mine. I'm not sure why he's a friend of mine, but right now, but no, he works with Elephant as well. And he comes in and just can't relate to kindness, so he makes jokes about things in a superficial way. And then he goes back to making hummus or amazing coffee. That's his mindful routine. But he has an incredibly wonderful wife who is highly tolerant and very clear with him about his many faults, but still loves him. Okay, so let's come back. So today I wanted to talk about kind of this moment that we're in. So if you want to ask a question, you can ask a question. I'll begin with questions. And then if you want to join, if you're inspired by these, you can join the community in a more meaningful, long-lasting way. We have that bundle directly below, that green button. And the bundle is the book course, how to write a book. So I wrote a book, Things I Would Like to Do With You, and I created a course around it because basically everyone, including elephant authors, tends to self-publish this book on Amazon. And I don't know about you, but I don't personally want to support Amazon. I think they're doing fine. I don't want to support Amazon, Whole Foods. I think they own IMDb, Better Reads. They own all kinds of things. I want to support independent publishers, independent local bookshops. Anyone have any views on that? So if you don't want to support Amazon, and even if you are working with a publisher, I wrote a book course. So if you want to write a book, you don't necessarily have to be a writer, but you do have to have a story within you. So I wrote this book course, and that's there. Then I also, if you have trouble accessing your voice, especially if you feel like you're a writer, but you don't quite know what to write or how to write your story, or if you're not a writer but you still want to write a book, I have this Find a Voice course. Both are together until midnight tonight. And that at that point, the discount is gone. So if you want to do both together, they're in the green button. Yeah, it looks like Jan did the book course. Thank you. So yeah, especially during this tough coronavirus time, we urgently, and I think Republicans and Democrats alike, or wherever we are in the world, can agree on this, we urgently have to support local. We urgently have to support local. All of us, or our local communities will be even further gutted. So please support your local independent bookshop. And if you can buy used, always buy used. Okay. You don't have to commit any time. It's self-paced, Joan, and but honestly, I would at least commit, say, 10 minutes a day. I wouldn't just buy it and sit on it and then feel guilty about it and vaguely guilty about it and then not do it. And this shouldn't be another homework assignment. Only do it if you really want to do it. Yeah, there's some, there's Abe books, Sierra, Abe, maybe people can write down some independent book sources, but Powell's, but almost all of you can find your local bookshops are doing curbside delivery or mailing. All right, so let's start with ask a question, and then I want to talk about a moose that just got killed in Boulder, and I want to talk about a tree that's about to get killed in Boulder. The issue with Powell's, and I ordered from them, is a fair amount of plastic in the box, so I wasn't a fan of that. I think if we can support local even more, that's less shipping, and shipping is obviously bad for climate change. And again, climate change should not be a liberal issue. Climate change is something that happened to all of us. Yeah, well said. All right. Oh, that was Dave. See, Dave can be serious. All right, here's a question from Courtney. I'm actually enjoying quarantine and love the space and pause it's created. Slowing down, noticing nature, reading. So I'm in Ask a Question if anyone wants to read along. Yeah, Abe Books is great, Emily, but again, support your local first. Try to support your local first. From Courtney, I'm actually enjoying quarantine and love the space and pause it's created. Let's come together and talk with Courtney. Resting, cooking, napping, reading. I feel inspired, and it's made me realize how much simplicity matters to me. I feel anxiety over going back to quote unquote real life. My employees are chomping at the bit to get back to it, but I'm going to miss this time. Any tips on getting motivated to get back to the grind? We have some articles on that. Emily, Molly, any favorite ones? I want to say, I have shelves and shelves of books, Courtney, and just this morning, I spent 20 minutes emptying one of the shelves for only the second time in 12 years, taking all the books off of it, cleaning all the dust off all the shelves, and then I'm going to put them back up and label them and kind of make them a little more orderly. There wasn't a whole lot of order there. And in the process, I'll find books that I no longer need and that I can give away or sell to try it into my local bookshop. In the process, I can find books I desperately want to read, so then I'll be doing more reading instead of doing, just watching TV at night when I'm tired. So I'm just sharing that because all of us have found time, whether it's making oat milk, I've been doing that. Whether it's making granola, I've been doing that. Whether it's making hummus, I just learned how to do that. My friend is making peanut butter. Guess how many ingredients? 1. Other friends are baking bread, beautiful bread. So a lot of us are coming back, gardening. A lot of us are restarting or investing in our gardens. So there's a quality of togetherness and slowing down to quarantine that is precious. Also, the earth is able to heal. I was talking with a wonderful friend yesterday, and she is wonderful, but she was saying, folks, are we focused? Let's come together. So I was talking with a wonderful friend yesterday. We went for a walk. Let's do the oat milk recipe in the sidebar, but let's come together. I don't want this to be a whole bunch of words. Let's actually have some community here. So we went for a walk with my dog, and we wound up running into a neighbor friend. We then walked further. We ran into another neighbor friend. We sat on her front porch. I've talked with her for maybe 5 times for 2 minutes each in 12 years. We sat on her front lawn while she was on her front porch for more than an hour. And we discussed her whole life and her family and, our lives and just everything. Does anyone else have that neighbor experience, which is really connecting with your local neighbors? Anyone? Hopefully connecting from 6 feet away. So I don't know if comments are delayed or what. Yes, Lindsay says yes in Hawaii, in Maui. Kelly, yes, neighbors every day. So Courtney, there's a lot of beauty to, I don't know if Courtney is here. This was a question from last time, but there's a lot of beauty to this quarantine time. And then at some point, my neighbor said she couldn't wait to, reschedule her flights and fly to Vietnam and fly here and fly there. We have to begin to take climate change seriously. It is here to stay, and it's only going to get more extreme. So if you have the ability, please don't drive. Go bike to the hardware shop. If you have the ability, don't drive. Bike to your grocery store. Get some panniers in the back, the big bags. If you have the ability, get some free exercise and air. You can do this in the middle of the winter. You have good gloves, whatever. Maybe you have a little scarf or headgear. You'll be warm. If you can't bike, you can walk, carpool, bus, make fewer trips in your car. Who here takes climate change a little bit seriously? We can save water in our sinks. We can save the water in a bucket in our shower. When the cold water gets full, you can pour it and use it as a flush in the toilet. We can get a bidet. We can, shop organic. Organic is huge. A lot of farmers, are covered in pesticides all the time. Pesticides kill our insects. Anyone know what percentage of insects have died? 30%. Same with birds, 30%. How many bees have died? 50%. This is all going to start affecting us more and more. We need health. Stop putting yellow flags on your lawn. Maybe I'm talking to the choir. So if I am, then our choir here, we have to engage in kindness. What's the quote? Small community can change the world. It's the only thing that ever has. Who's that quote by? Margaret Mead. Maybe we can find the actual quote. It's more beautiful than I can remember. So we have to, if we are the choir, we need to look at our own habits and see how we can change, right? If you're doing a lawn project, like Dave just did a garden project, can you use recycled materials? Can you use an old door for a gate? Can you ask your neighbors, like I am, for the old skis and whatever to build things with? We don't need to keep consuming, and flying around casually. It's, on the one hand, travel is vital to overcoming prejudices. So here's the quote from Emily. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. My mom is not a community. She's one person, yet she made me who I am, most of me. The part of me that's an activist, the part of me that's an environmentalist, the part of me that gets really sad when, a moose gets killed in Boulder or a 100-year-old tree is getting cut down. My mom made the best parts of me. So never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens, in a way that's overstating the case. It just takes one person, one of you, to keep caring. And that takes bravery. Why does that take bravery, Noel? Why does that take bravery, Gabriella or Jeanette or Deborah? Because it's really sad. It's really depressing sometimes to care. That's why I love to say, instead of give a I don't know if there's children here. Any children here? Instead of saying give a we say give a care. Because giving a care, it actually does feel like giving. It is hard sometimes to continue to care. So maybe we can I keep talking about the moose, Emily or Molly, if you can put that moose article in the sidebar. It's not just about the moose, but it's about the selfish quality that I think Instagram sometimes can feed. But it's our responsibility, not Instagram's fault, which is exactly Jeanette. But the good news is that so many of us could say exactly that. Jeanette said, I sometimes feel so alone, like I'm the only one who cares. So many of us feel that way. So I wrote this article, We Shoot Mountain Lions, Don't We? And it's about mountain lions and moose and bear. And I asked all of you to read it. You don't have to like it. You can leave a mean comment, but consider reading it. And it's heartbreaking. There's a quality. I think I saw a cartoon. It might have been in the New Yorker, but it was Jesus came back from the dead, right? He rose again. Jesus came back. And he's trying to teach us about kindness. And instead of that, we're all just surrounding him like a paparazzi, taking iPhone photos of him, taking Instagram photos of him. And he's saying, to heck with it. So that's kind of what we do to the bison in Yellowstone, right? We surround them and take photos. That's what we did to this moose. We surrounded it and took photos. That's what we did to this baby bear that I do a video about. I didn't ever photo or video the bear. I did a video about him. This little baby bear was stuck in a tree across from our office downtown in Boulder. He was down trying to eat, and then the city woke up, and at 9 a.m., he suddenly found himself surrounded by Instagrammers all day. They got fenced off. There were so many. And I went around asking people nicely, hey, this bear, he's dehydrated. He's shaking with fear. He's a baby. He's peeing and pooping on himself. He can't have food. He can't have water. He's afraid. Stop taking photos of him if you're willing, and then maybe he'll leave. And people were generally really nice. One lady who worked across the street at whatever that hotel is called, told me to F off and said, I'm taking my photo so you can go to hell. That's kind of this arrogance, right? This pride. I got mine. I can guarantee you that lady is not wearing a mask these days, right? And I don't hate her or anything. That doesn't help. But there's a selfishness to humanity that we're seeing a lot of in the world right now. But the fact is, we've lost more than 100,000 dead folks. There's a link in New York Times about how underreported that count is. If you look at the average death counts for every state in the US, let alone around the world, the average death counts are well exceeded beyond the coronavirus count. And yet liberals are getting into this conspiracy theory stuff about how there's undercounts. And maybe there are maybe there's overcounts and undercounts and all this. But this is a devastating pandemic in any case. And as someone said, where is the national mourning? Where is the international mourning? 3,000 people around that died in 9/11, and there was national mourning for years and years and years and years. And there should be about anyone who dies ever. Now we've lost well over 100,000, probably, including the undercounts, probably 150,000 in the US alone. And yet we're not engaging in that kind of care, So there is this quality, and Buddhism talks about it, when we're going through a lot of confusing times, especially if we have a confusing leader, and whether you're liberal or conservative, we're all buying into his logic when we say it's economy versus lives, right? You can save both. You can pay people to stay home, like they have in many countries. Here's $4,000 a month, stay home, be safe, pay your mortgage, pay your food, pay your rent. PPP is a wonderful start for that in the US. That's responsible, and that protects our economy, because we don't want our economy to completely be gutted as it is being right now, when we're not really fully paying people to stay home or businesses to close. Then we have to open, and that's kind of what everyone's saying. But we only have to open because we're not using our own tax dollars to fully care for ourselves. What we're doing is We're paying for a crazy military and all these things we don't need quite so much. Do we need military? Sure, and I honor our military, but we don't need a military in the U.S. that's 10 times the size of the size of the next 10 countries combined. So that's my personal view, and you're welcome to disagree, and we can disagree with respect. We can disagree with a sense of humor, and most importantly, openness, and I can learn from you. I disagree with my friends all the time, and I agree with them all the time, and I can learn from them, and you can learn from me, and that's community, right? But there are basic facts, and we need to come back and care about facts. So I often talk about subscribing to journalism. This will be my plug, which is not particularly for Elephant. If you want to subscribe to Elephant, obviously that helps us. But please subscribe to journalism. Journalism is not MSM. It's not a conspiracy. I study journalism. I know what journalists are. They're craftspeople. They're craftswomen, craftsmen who are trying to find truth, and we are paying them to do so. So please pay for and read journalism. All right, let's do another question. I don't know if, is this working for anyone, or are you burned out on all this stuff? I get it. From Tertia, tips to stay focused and follow through on a goal or intentionally pivot if need be. I find myself feeling motivated to enact change in my life, so I start something new, and then something else, and something else, and something else. So I end up with several unfinished projects, tasks, goals, and feel frustrated and stuck. Tertia, so all of us do that. Society encourages that. Marketing encourages that. Ads encourage that. Even on Elephant, you go to Elephant, you try to read an article, there's an ad. When you subscribe, most of those ads go away. So please subscribe. Can someone put the link, elephantjournal.com/subscribe? Then you have a more relaxed reading experience. But our entire society is here to encourage ADHD in all of us. And I don't like to use that term casually, but there's a societal speediness. Please read that Busyness article. It'll change your life. I don't say that casually. So do people know what I mean? There's a speediness. There's an inability to read a book. There's an inability to do any one thing for more than 5 seconds. Do people feel that? Lydia says yes, or height. So we are training ourselves. Our society is training ourselves to never be able to do anything for more than 5 minutes. On the other hand, who here will binge watch Netflix for 5 hours straight? Anyone? There's a great Portlandia episode. I blogged about that. Emily, I don't know. That might be some Google foo, but if you can search Portlandia binge watching on Elephant Journal, just not the generic quote, my blog about it, that would be great to put in there. Binge, Portlandia, elephantjournal.com. So anyone here binge for 5 hours straight? That is laziness. I'm not saying that judgmentally. I've done it too. I might have watched 3 hours of Billions last night. And then there's busyness. Who here is both consumed by busyness, speediness, and will binge watch or zone out, couch out for 5 hours? Who here does both? Exactly, Battlestar. Anyone here do both? Anyone? Yeah, both. There's Kate. She's an editor at Elephant. So when you subscribe, you're paying for Kate. If 10 of you subscribe right now and say, Kate, elephantjournal.com/subscribe, Kate, if any of you decide to subscribe today and you put that in the comments and you say, I just subscribed Kate for Kate, I'll give her a $2,000 raise live today. elephantjournal.com/subscribe. And if you already subscribed, grateful, thank you. And please say that in the comments so we can acknowledge you. But 10 new subscriptions, and Kate will get a more than $2,000 raise. It'd be more like $2,300 raise. I know that's weird. Yes, but she deserves it. She's a fantastic goddamn editor. She's fantastic. And our editors deserve raises. We pay our editors a minimum of $20 an hour equivalent, which is like 40 plus K a year full-time. That's a wonderful progressive minimum wage, but they deserve more than that. Some of them make more than that because they've been here for a while. So Noel just said elephantjournal.com/Kate. Did I miss any others? Anyone else? Wendy, we'll count you. So that's 2. Will someone keep a count in the sidebar if you see Elephant Journal, Kate? If there's 10 of them, I'll do it. I think Marianne maybe did it. How many are we at? 3? Marianne, did you just do it today? All right, Annie says it, that's 4. If 10 of you do it, you don't go to elephantjournal.com/Kate, elephantjournal.com/subscribe, but just in the sidebar, just say Kate. And Kate is one of our like 10 editors. Many of them deserve raises. Kate's a little newer, hasn't had a big raise yet. So I just saw her in the comments. And in Kate's honor, we will do it. Why not? But let's get back to the focus. One of you keep count of the Kates in there. It has to be a new one. So where was I? I don't know. I'll go to a question. How's that? Oh, the busyness, laziness thing. So yeah, how do you follow through on a project? You follow through on a project by resisting society's encouraging us to be busy and to be lazy. So how do you resist that? Number 1, you wake up and you meditate. Develop a daily meditation practice. When you first wake up on the edge of your bed, or if you have a meditation shrine, cushion situation, meditate. Even for 2 minutes, you can bow, dedicate your meditation, your day to the benefit of all sentient beings. Can we put that how to meditate link in the sidebar, Molly, Emily, the one I gave you yesterday? Yeah, go Kate. So Marianne wasn't a new one, so I think we're just at 3, unless I've missed a few. Bobby, it looks like, is in. But you have to actually subscribe for this to work. And subscriptions are $3 a month. It's not too bad. And that means you can read Unlimited Elephant. You'll see fewer ads. It's a better reading experience, and you'll support our editors and best writers to do good work for you. So if you want to open up, these are the best meditation instructions ever. They're the classic dot and letter meditation instructions for shamatha meditation in the Buddhist tradition. So how do we develop the ability to do one thing without being... We develop a meditation practice. Number 2, and here's a key thing, don't fill the space. Can someone write that down? Do we have this, Molly, as a mindful challenge somewhere? Don't fill the space. When you're in line, a lot of us are not in lines right now, but when you're in line, don't fill the space with being on your phone. When you're walking and you're waiting for your dog to doo-doo, or your friend goes off to the bathroom and you're waiting for them, don't fill the space. Resist the call to get your phone out. Enjoy the present moment. Look around you. For those of you who have heard this 20 times, I apologize. But when you resist filling the space, boom, suddenly the present moment is there, and you start appreciating who you are, and you start dealing and processing with your obstacles. Looks like Michaela is subscribing for Kate. Anyone else? Don't fill the space. So when you come to a stoplight in your car, don't get your phone out. Don't fiddle with the radio. Less can be more. Don't fill the space. When you don't fill the space, you suddenly look around, you notice the light, the leaves. I just did it to myself. I looked at the tree. I tried to just be present and look at the tree. And within 3 seconds, I relaxed, right? It's magic. So don't fill the space. So meditation practice in the morning, in the evening, then don't fill the space. Then you'll be able to follow through. I was talking to Tersha. You can follow through on a project because you'll be able to bear down. When your mind, the procrastination mind wants to get away from any kind of challenge. Does anyone here read Pema Chodron? She's talking constantly about being willing to expose ourselves, to being willing to lean in to that feeling of tight chest, basically, tight lungs. Anyone ever have that stressful feeling in your heart? and you want to get out. You want to go eat a cookie. You want to go eat a second cookie, right? Because it's easier to do anything than to lean in. But when you have a meditation practice and you don't fill the space, you can lean in. And here's the trick. When you fill the space by eating the cookie, do you enjoy the cookie? Anyone, do you fully enjoy the cookie when you're using the cookie as distraction? Hell nah. You fully enjoy that cookie when you're fully present. So the cookie could be what you're being present with. But if you're using it as a distraction, you're kind of multitasking about the cookie. What is distracting you from the cookie? The fact that you don't really want the cookie, you don't really need the cookie. You feel desperately like you want it. That kind of grease sugar addiction quality. You feel guilty about eating a cookie. You're thinking about 5 different things. You're thinking about what you're avoiding while you're eating it. And before you know it, the cookie is gone. I do this every day. If I'm not present, I'll eat a whole meal, and then I want to re-eat the whole meal and overeat. Like last night, I had 2 big bowls of pasta because the first bowl I enjoyed, but I was kind of being speedy and watching Billions, and I didn't really notice what I was doing. I do love cookies. I love cookies from Moxie Bakery most of all, but I need to learn how to make cookies. Then I get them hot with 0 carbon footprint or less. Vegan cookies. All right. Do we have any vegan cookie recipes? Any good recipes? The vegan cookie we ate yesterday, my friend is not vegan here, and it's like the best cookie you'll ever have in your life. So there's no pejorative there. Gluten-free cookies, that's a challenge, but I'm sure there's plenty of good ones. You can use applesauce, banana, that kind of thing to make it all moist and yummy. It's the only context in which the word moist is appropriate. All right, Tertia, I hope that helps, because that's something we all go through, an inability to read, an inability to follow through, an inability to lean in when everything in us wants to distract ourselves. That kind of reminds me of that poem, my favorite poem. Emily or Molly maybe could put my favorite poem in the sidebar. So those 2 tips, what were the 2 tips we just shared? And if any of you are sharing an amazing recipe, please blog it. elephantjournal.com/post. Please, elephantjournal.com/post. Let's find that gluten-free vegan oatmeal chocolate chip recipe that Megan's talking about. Did we get to like 5 with Kate or no? Did we lose on the Kate raise? Could change your life, folks. No pressure. We're at 7 with Kate. Okay, thank you. All right, if we get to 10, that's a pretty big deal. That'll make Kate's year, really. All right. So let's do one more question. So let's talk about idiot compassion. That's a great one. Kristen. So idiot compassion. And then we'll end with a speed round of where everyone is in the world. And maybe we'll meditate or do a writing exercise. How's that? And then we'll be done at noon, which is 8 minutes. Can you elaborate on what you said last week about idiot compassion? That really jumped out at me. Yeah, it's a phrase by Trungpa Rinpoche, this fellow, this author, Chogyam Trungpa. We have a blog about idiot compassion. Can anyone put that in the sidebar? So we have a blog, Kristen. Everything that I could talk about is better expressed in a full blog. Gretchen, I'm afraid it does not count, but I'm super grateful. It's got to be live. Gretchen Blossom, thank you for subscribing. So we're at 7. Let's get to 10. Idiot compassion is basically compassion not for idiots. Let's listen to this. This is a good lesson for all of us, including me. Idiot compassion is when our compassion is selfish, when our compassion is about us, not them. When someone asks you for a favor and you don't want to do it, but you say yes because you feel pressured, that's idiot compassion. When you are kind and generous to a friend who doesn't appreciate it and takes advantage of you, that is idiot compassion. Again, it's not because they're an idiot. It's on us. We have to take responsibility and say, I don't feel comfortable with this. Here's my situation. Here's what that brings up for me. It's an opportunity for further friendship through communication. The cliche for idiot compassion is now what the entire millennial generation is going through no fault of their own, which is that you're a mom or a dad, and your 45-year-old son is living in your basement because you don't have the ability to say, hey, get out, get off the couch, stop smoking dope. I'm going with a total cliche here. I take responsibility for that. And you don't have the will to kind of give them a kick in the butt and say, get off the couch, go get a job, and enjoy your life. Like, appreciate your life. Stop just kind of hiding and being depressed in the basement, right? So that's sort of the deal for idiot compassion, is that it's compassion that isn't genuine or helpful. Is idiotic compassion. It's compassion that is a blunt instrument instead of a scalpel. It's not precise. So if your surgeon walks up to you in the surgical room, and they have a wooden baseball bat, enabling, exactly, Megan, thank you. We should have you teach this. It's a lot quicker. Enabling. Idiot compassion is enabling. It's good to read about it because the Buddhist approach is always sort of more subtle and it's a little less blunt, I guess, again, than our egos would think. So read that blog. Yeah, Artist, I'm sorry to hear that. But maybe you should read that Idiot Compassion blog and then maybe share it with him. Yeah, Buddhism can be a little less judgy, but at the same time, we can afford to take responsibility. All right. I'm 48, was an elementary school teacher. This is from Lori, for 18 years, but lost the passion. Love working out activities, so I began studying for a personal trainer certification and just passed my test last Friday. For Lori. And I'm terrified of actually putting myself out there, unsure I can be successful, scared of success more than failure. Failure brings about sympathy, success brings expectation. How do I overcome and work toward the vision of myself in my head and let go of the fear, ego, doubt? Well, this is something we all go through, Lori. We're scared of stepping out, right? Like John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever was scared of jumping out onto the dance floor and being all alone. And he makes it look cool, and that makes it even worse because we're scared of doing it and not looking cool. So please read Cocoon. Emily, Molly, Amelie, remember it's elephantjournal.com/subscribe for Kate. So you actually got to subscribe for us to do this. We'll look and see if we actually have 10. If we actually have 10 during this hour, I'll know. And Kate will be, her awkward moment will be at a happy end, thanks to you. So read the Cocoon. Lori, there's a quality of stepping out into success that is deeply uncomfortable because it's fresh air, it's scary, it's unknown. And like you said, some people will have sympathy for failure, but success can be uncomfortable. Who among us is comfortable saying, I am really successful, I do this thing really well? We're kind of taught to have this false humility. Let's put the Idiot Compassion blog in the sidebar again. So, Lori, number one, you're not alone. Everyone is scared of that kind of success at various times in their life, at stepping out onto that dance floor, right? Is Lori alone? Who, just maybe give Lori a heart if you're feeling, if you're supporting her, even though it's sort of thoughts and prayers style, because we're on Zoom basically. Let's all support you, Lori. A little heart for Lori, Lori. Number two, you can also let go of that image of success. You said something which is not very Buddhist-y. How do I overcome and work toward the vision of myself in my head and let go of the fear, ego, doubt? Here's the good news. You can let go of your fear, your ego, and your doubt. It's okay to have fear. It's okay to have fear, Lori. It's okay to have doubt. Fear and doubt are okay. They're telling us things. They're giving us signals. If you're afraid of heights, that's a healthy fear. But you don't need to get caught up in the fear. That's where the Tonglen meditation is so powerful. You can process the fear. You can listen to the fear. You can make friends with the doubt. That's Maitri. Can we put Maitri and Tonglen in the sidebar? I know we do that a lot, but that's for Lori. That's a signed reading for you. And Tonglen is a meditation practice. So try to practice that. You breathe in the fear and you breathe out relaxation. So you actually reverse the flow of ego, which you also refer to. The third thing is you can actually let go of that vision of yourself succeeding. The cool thing is, I know in sports we talk about visualizing ourselves making the basket. We visualize success, but you can actually let go of that and just be fully present. When you see Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson or whoever it is, LeBron, some amazing move in basketball, Steph Curry, yes, they've practiced a million times, practiced Tonglen, but they also are being present with the whoever's defending them. They're being present with whatever's going on. So they have the tools, they have the practice, but then they are just being present. So they've, in a funny way, they've let go of their image of how they're going to score. They've let go of the layup or the jump shot, and they just do whatever is appropriate based on where the defense is. Does that make sense? Yeah, the power of now. That's a great phrase. You should write a book with that title. All right. Even better, Joel, you should blog Peter Marchin's videos on Elephant Journal. So let's support independent media. YouTube is owned by Google, etc. So we can use these huge companies and put them on Elephant Journal. Use that as your platform. Cocoon is just a chapter. Do you all have that link, Cocoon? It's a chapter in Shambhala. So Shambhala is a wonderful book, and I recommend buying it used at your local bookshop. All right, so let's end with 1 minute of meditation. We could also do a writing exercise. People want to vote. Do we want 1 minute of meditation or one writing exercise? And anyone who didn't have your questions answered, we will do them next time. Noel, anyone else, and folks, vote those questions up. So if you want to find your voice and maybe write a book in an independent way without Amazon, learn how to market and make 99% instead of 5%, that's the book writing course. The Find Your Voice course is so cheap that you're basically getting one of the courses for free. All right, let's do meditation. I'm seeing more meditation. Take a good posture. Find your breath in and out. Root your feet in the earth. Let's stop typing. Root your feet in the earth. No big deal. Find a good posture. Eyes are open. We'll write next time. And find your breath in and out. Right, meditation also is an aid for writing because our minds completely open and become present. So let's practice that now, and that'll be good for your writing. So breathe in, gap, breathe out, gap. Breathe in and breathe out. If you find yourself distracted, maybe you're thinking about what you have to do next, maybe you're thinking about lunch or dinner, maybe you're thinking about an argument you had, maybe you're thinking about something that makes you sad or the rest of your day, just notice that and say, I'm thinking. I'm lost in thought. I'm thinking. Return your attention to your breath. If you find your body relax and uplift, that's a natural result of you doing this. So find your breath in and out. You don't have to put all your attention on your breath. It's light attention on your breath. If you're distracted by me or your day or thinking about food or whatever, thinking, return your attention to your breath. We can all type bow. Thank you so much. Please, let's all bow together. How many were we at with Kate? Did we make 8 or 9, Kate? These are people, elephantjournal.com/subscribe. You can do it after the meeting. That counts because it's hard to do it during the meeting. elephantjournal.com/subscribe. If you say you're doing it for Kate right now and we see Luann, you can email us about upgrading to getting the book course with it. So Noel, we got 1. Who else is about to subscribe for Kate and is doing it today? Subscribed. Maybe that's 2. Barbara, are you doing it today? Thank you, everyone from around the world. If you feel like saying where in the world you're from, please say it one more time. I'm from Boulder. It's fun to see the world community here. Carlo, where are you from? Jess, where are you from? Bobby, where are you from? Renee, where are you from? Karen is going to do it for Kate. So that's 3. Annie is doing it for Kate. I want to give Kate the full thing. She deserves it. She's been a great new editor who's super helpful and cheerful and works her butt off. Buenos Aires, Argentina. We got Maple Grove, Minnesota, Springfield, Virginia. Karen already did it for Kate. What count? Emily, Molly, we'll figure it out if we got to 10. Rachel already did it for Kate. Asheville, I love Asheville. Hello to Asheville, Michigan. St. Petersburg, Florida. Hello. Brooklyn, New York. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Next week, we're 4 away. Please, let's get to 7,000. Invite your friends. Oh, Emily said it was 11 for Kate. Kate's getting a big raise. That's pretty cool. Thank you, everyone. And if Kate doesn't get a raise, she will come on next Friday's event and expose me for the liar I am. So Kate is actually getting a raise because of you guys, but only if we actually see 10 subscriptions in the last hour and the next hour. So it actually has to work for Kate. Yay, Kate. All right. Thank you, everyone. It's my pleasure and honor. I hope today was okay. Joelle was born in Boulder. That's so cool. Did people have a good time? Did people enjoy today? You want to come back next week? Joseph, thank you, man. Anyone have a good time? Anyone want to come back next week? Despite me looking really tired. Yay, Kate. Kate got a big raise. That'll really that's a big deal, guys. Yeah. Sierra, thank you. Vendora, yeah. Okay, lots of good vibes only. Maybe as a final link, can we put my good vibes only, how I hate it, link in the sidebar. It's a fun read for folks. Thank you so much, everyone. And if I see 10 subscriptions actually happen over the next hour and the last hour, Kate's got it. I'm not going to do it unless I actually see it. So elephantjournal.com/subscribe. Thank you, everyone. It's a real honor. I think at this point, it's no longer a new fun thing. It's like a real community, and it's still working. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Joan. Chrissy, thank you. Coming back. Yeah, sign up for the bundle, Gretchen, if you're going to do it by midnight tonight, because that discount basically is ridiculous, and we're getting rid of it at midnight. Ritual, exactly, Sarah. Positivity Manifesto. I think I have a different thing about good vibes only, but Positivity Manifesto works. That could be your final work read if you want to read that. All right. Thank you, everyone. Mahalo. Yeah, feels like hugs. Thank you, Griselda. Yeah, Tess, if you bought the Find Your Voice course already, email academy@elephantjournal.com and you can upgrade, I think, for very little to get both. But you have to do it by midnight tonight. So we'll look for those emails if any one of you wanted to get both. I think that's fine. How long to write the book if dedicated? I mean, that's really up to you. How long is the book? For me, I calculate out how long I want the book to be, how many words per page, then how many days that would take at, how many words I feel like I could write. But all that's in the book course. I really recommend the book course. It's a legitimately unique, helpful thing. All right, Tristan, thank you. Mahalo. Karen, okay, I've overstayed my welcome. Thank you so much.